You'll hear a lot of naysayers telling you how a career in art isn't a smart decision, or how starting a business centered around creativity is a bad idea. Well, I'm here to tell you why I believe that advice is totally wrong. Greetings everyone, welcome to the underground lair where we bring our creations to life. I'm Scott with Serkworks Art Labs. I'm a professional illustrator, designer, and mad creator. I've been doing that for a while, and honestly for me, I don't think there was any other option for me personally on what I wanted to do for a career. But you know, when you go into a career like this, a creative business, you're gonna get a lot of people saying, oh, you're kind of crazy. I don't know about that. But in actuality, if you are going to start a business, a creative business is probably one of the best decisions you can make. And the reason why I say that, and the reason why a creative business is different from a lot of businesses that you can start, is really there's no barrier for entry when it comes to creativity and art. As far as the cost of materials or equipment that's needed to start a business, a creative business, it's relatively low. Think about it. Most businesses that you start, you are going to need to make a significant investment in equipment, products, maybe warehouse space. There are all these expenses, and as far as art, a lot of those expenses are relatively small, minimal. So think about it. So if, as far as equipment, chances are you probably have pretty much everything you need. If you have a computer, then you are off to a good start. Some people can even do everything on a tablet or their phone. And as far as software, yes, you know, the Adobe suite and everything, which is kind of the industry standard for a lot of art production, it can be a little pricey, but there are so many options out there. And, you know, so you don't have to stick with Adobe. I mean, I think once you get established and everything, that may be a way to go. But then a lot of people say, no, I'm happy with, you know, whatever else I'm using, whether it's, you know, like Affinity Designer. There's all these other options, some of which are quite a bit lower price. Some of them are even free. You know, there's I think there's something called Photopea, which is an online kind of Photoshop clone, and then there's, you know, GIMP and all that. And as far as Illustrator, I think it's Inkscape, I think. But there are alternatives out there that you can use to get started. So you don't need to drop a whole lot of money on like a monthly subscription or anything like that. So, you know, that's one reason right there. And most everything you do is going to be, you're doing it probably from your studio, your house, whatever, and you don't need to go rent studio space or anything like that. Like, you don't need to, it doesn't require like you purchasing a truck to drive around, like if you were going to business as an exterminator or a plumber or something like that. All those types of businesses, there's a lot of setup. But if you were to go to somebody and say, oh, I think I'm going to become a plumber, most people wouldn't give you any like negativity about that. They go, okay, I know what a plumber is. But you know, to start off with that, there is a big investment with the creative projects or creative jobs. That it's all what comes out. Now, obviously, you have to be creative, but if you are a creative person, you can get started relatively easy. The other thing to consider is there's really no, you know, you don't need a formal education. There's no formal education requirements to becoming, you know, a great artist. Now, you can go to a fancy art school and everything, but even if you don't, you can still compete with those fancy degrees. I don't have a fancy degree. I'm largely self-taught. I took a few classes here and there, but I can still compete with pretty much anyone that's gone to any art school, even the best art schools around. So don't let that be, you know, a stopping point for you. That's not a necessity. That degree, where some businesses you need that, or you'll need a certification or something like that. Even construction, you need to be certified and all that kind of stuff. Now, you may say, well, that's all well and good, but what about, you know, you can start off easy, but how do you get clients? How do you get going? I memean, isn't there a scarcity as far as the amount of work that's out there for artists? There's so much competition and everything. But again, we are creative people, so we have to find out creative solutions around that. We don't want to be doing the same kind of thing everyone else is doing. Think about this. Art is everywhere you see. If you go to a grocery store, everything on those shelves had to be designed by somebody. And I'm not just talking about the boxes of cereal and the package of hair dye products or whatever. I'm not talking about I am talking, I mean, that's part of it. it, package design, but even the shelves that those things sit on. I mean, maybe it's not as glamorous, but like displays and all kinds of things. I mean, even the light fixtures when you go to a store, or the tile. I mean, designers usually have to come up with the patterns on carpet and all that stuff. So it's out there. So many different opportunities out there. We just tend to think, we have a very narrow, mindset as far as what art can be or what we can put art on. But if with some creativity, we can find a niche that's untapped that no one else is doing. And it's just, like I said, art is everywhere. Everywhere you look has to be, everything you see has to have been designed by somebody, and why not you? And there's things that haven't even been invented yet that we can come up with. And there's so many opportunities there. So when people say, well, there's just not enough work to go around, I don't really believe that. And as far as getting your name out there and your work out there, we are in the golden age with the internet and social media. I mean, we don't have those kind of gatekeepers that we used to have, that we had to, I need to get hired at this company to do art. No, we can start our own business, and we can use all these tools, the same tools that some of these big agencies and companies are using. We have access to all of that. And not just that, but products. We're also in an age where, we don't have to source, like if we wanted to put our illustrations or our designs or something like that on a particular product. Before, you'd have to order massive amounts of, say, if it was coffee cups. Oh, in order to make that profitable, you probably have to order like 100 coffee cups or whatever. Or even printing books, you have to order these large amounts. But now with like print on demand and things like that, you don't even have to invest in that. You can upload your designs. They could get printed, and half the time you don't even have to pay for shipping. Now you can go really in depth, and there's all kinds of different ways you can do it. And a lot of times with some of the print on demand, there is sort of it's a pretty low royalty that you're going to make off of those. But there's ways that you can do there's other ways where you can do that. We can make a larger royalty, and if you're promoting it yourself on, say, your own site and things like that, things like Printful, and there's all kinds of different opportunities out there to put your products out on different products, whereas before, you had to make a large investment in whatever product it is, and then it's sitting in a warehouse somewhere. You don't really have to worry about that anymore. And as far as getting the word out, conventions, if you are, say, a comic book artist or something sort of pop culture, conventions are a good way to get out there and start exposing people to your work and getting sales and things like that, in addition to social media. Now, some of those there is a price tag attached to that, but you can always start off. Maybe get together with a friend, share a table or something, or find somebody that just wants company or whatever, and maybe you can go in on a table. I'm talking to get started, and then you can gradually go up. The great thing about this career is you can start small, and as you get more successful, you can branch out. Maybe you are a fine artist and you want to, you have aspirations of, I want to show my stuff in galleries and everything. Well, if you are, if you're a little bit savvy, and a lot of these things that I'm talking about, it's a business, and that's what I'm talking. I'm not just talking necessarily about, I want to be an artist, I want to go out and get hired by somebody and work for them. I'm talking about people that are entrepreneurial and want to start a business. If you are a creative person, it makes a lot more sense for you to start a creative business than, like I said, a plumber or a construction or anything like that. Now, and really, profitability is the big thing too, which I didn't even mention. If you are in construction, there's kind of there's a cap. People know kind of what to expect, what to pay for whatever. It's kind of a little more of a commodity, where creativity, there are people that will not put much value in that. But the thing is, creativity, it's because in the same way that people don't put much value in it, it's up to you to show what that value is worth. Why are some art pieces worth thousands of dollars and some people just doing commissions for like $50? One of those artists is probably not more talented than the other, but one of them puts value on their artwork. So, if you are selling products, if you're selling artwork, there could be a massive markup because it's a lot of it's just your time and whatever the time it takes for you to market and all that stuff. But a painting, you could do the paper or whatever, the board, the canvas that it's on. That's probably your cost other than your time, and you could sell that for thousands of dollars. So there could be a huge markup, whereas other businesses, not so much. And like I said, if you want to be a fine artist, you want to show in galleries or whatever. Sorry, I kind of got off track with that one. But you don't necessarily. Again, there are a lot of gatekeepers in that aspect, in that that kind of that space. But there's other ways you can work around it. There's so much real estate out there in high traffic areas that is just sitting there vacant. And really, if you find out, who owns this spot right here, can I talk to the owner of that spot? And it's like, hey, can I do a pop-up, a pop-up event here? I just need the space for a weekend, and otherwise it's just sitting there, And it's not like you're tying it up where they can't rent it to somebody else, because you're just asking for that space for like a weekend or a week or something like that. So I mean, that's another way to go. But again, these all take a little bit of an entrepreneurial spirit. So if you have that, and if you are creative, I mean, there's really no other business venture I would recommend you going into other than a creative business. Now, I've just kind of touched the surface on kind of some of these ideas and everything. You could take those farther, and if you are interested, like I said, you don't have to go to a fancy school to learn this stuff. Honestly, what I would recommend, if you're not familiar with The Future, it's a channel on YouTube. Chris Do, it's his company. He's a millionaire, off of creativity, and he knows how to sell. He's very entrepreneurial, and he's very successful. And he basically, most of his secrets and the things that he does, he gives away for free on his YouTube channel. Again, it's The Future, like the font with no E at the end. Definitely check that out and just start diving into what you can, some of the possibilities that you can do if you just kind of shift your mindset away from, what you've been taught all along as far as, art and creativity, that's not a good business. Well, Chris Do may disagree with you. So if you're at all interested, I would definitely tell you to go check out The Future, go through a lot of their videos, so much great advice. And he's not the only one, there's other sites out there, but I would start there and then kind of branch out from there. So hopefully that gives you some food for thought, something to think about if you're thinking about going into a career as a creative. There's stuff on my channel where I talk about that, depending on what aspect you're going into. If it's more comics oriented, I've got a lot of content on this channel as well. So anyway, good luck if that's the path you want to go down, because you can be quite successful as long as you do it the right way, and don't listen to all those naysayers out there. Anyway, let me know what you think. Leave a comment in the comment section, and I'll talk to you guys later. That is all. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. Also, you can follow me at Serkworks on social media, and now you can support the work that I do on Patreon. Do you like making comics? Then go to Serkworks.com and pick up the Comic Maker Starter Kit. It's packed full of fonts, brushes, templates, and more. And best of all, it's totally free.